So in the last video I showed off one of the what I think is one of the cooler features of our engine, which is the real-time data editing. This time I'm going to show off the first game that we're making with it. It's not a very complicated game, but the idea is if we can make something that is a full game, beginning, middle, end, has difficulty curve, multiple levels, things like that, we'll have a pretty good idea of what we need in the engine and what might be missing from it for our next game. So to start off with, we have the main menu of the game. The game's name is alternately L8 or Layer.Infinite. And one nice thing about the menu is you saw me working on it a little bit before, but I was able to go from just those three boxes on the screen to what it looks almost like a real menu without having to exit the game or write any Python code beyond about 4 lines in a file to make sure that the animations do exactly what I want. And I think that's pretty cool. So I can click start and it takes me into the game. The game is a 2D top-down space shooter, kind of like Asteroids. I can press space and shoot and bullets hit things. One nice thing about the screen recorder is it shows off that our collision stuff works even at low frame rate, so bullets don't actually just pass through the guys. And you can see my score go up as I shoot them, and there's kind of dumb enemies right now. I haven't implemented any smart ones, but it's the first level, so most of the enemies would be dumb. And the idea is that as you stay on the level, they spawn faster and faster, until eventually you hit your skill limit. You have to leave the level, which resets the score multiplier, but also resets the spawn rate. On the second level, the enemies spawn a little bit faster than they did to start with on the first level, and they spawn harder enemies, but you can keep going up and up a level until eventually you reach a point where you hit your skill limit at the very start of the level. For me, that's about on level 10, though if I'm recording a video, it's about on level 0. So restart the game, and so the two interesting features, the first is the dash, which is I hold down D and you can see my dash bar going down. Dashing makes me go a little bit faster and makes me go through enemies, so let's see if I can set that up. And when I go through enemies, it also costs me a little bit of my dash bar. So I have to be careful not to do it at the very end or not to stop right before I hit an enemy. And as you go higher up in levels, dash recharges much more slowly, which you'll see. So the other thing is the orange box on the side of the screen, which is my indicator of whether I can go to the next level or not. When it says go, I can hit a button and it plays a nice little rotation effect. And enemies that were on the previous level stay around as kind of visual noise. They're a little bit dimmer and a little bit smaller, but they're still there. I can fly over them. And the new enemies on this level are a little bit stronger, like I said, but pretty much it reset the spawn counter. And so once this gets too hard for me, I can go back to the first level, and you can see now I'm flying under those enemies that were on the level above me. I can keep going up as many levels as I want. There's about a 5-second cooldown time, so you can't just keep switching levels to avoid enemies. But I can change the cooldown time, again, without restarting. So, put in a debug command, and now I can go to level 20 right away. There's a 0 cooldown, so let's do that. We saw those guys all fade out. And here we are on level 20. Enemies start off spawning about 1 a second, but it's an exponential curve. So they're going to spawn really, really fast, really soon. We're already up to about 2 a second. Now we're out to about 3 a second, 4 a second, and it's pretty quickly becoming unmanageable. So I can start heading back down. Now there's a ton of visual noise that's going to make playing this level harder. So if you kind of wantonly switch between levels, it also adds a little bit of difficulty to the game. So that's the game. It's simple, it's not done, but the idea is once we're done, we're going to have a better idea of what we can do with our second game. And I think the game is actually going to be pretty fun. The one feature that's missing that I really want to get in is a high score list, which I think will, you can compare how you're doing to everyone else. And if I hook it up to a website, which is the other goal, I want to try to use some of this code as a server backend. I think we're going to get some interesting gameplay even out of this little test app that we're throwing together. That should be in probably a week or two, depending on how Pi Week plays out and how much motivation I can dig out. So, thanks for watching.